Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Eric with American Business Systems. Want to welcome you to our Wednesday webinar. Thank you for joining us here. We're starting right up at the top of the hour. I hope that you're looking forward to our webinar that we conduct every single Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Time. So thank you for those that have carved out a little bit of time to join us this afternoon. Folks, this is an exciting one. If you remember from last Wednesday, I did an interview with Dr. Vicki Rackner. I mentioned to you towards the end of that webinar that we were going to do a webinar on the effective marketing on getting your first doctor. So you're really in for a treat this afternoon because we're going to kind of peel back a little bit about what you're going to learn here and some of the ways we're going to help you get your first doctor. So it looks like we've got a great crowd to start off with already this morning or this afternoon. If you don't mind, do me a big favor, and that is just go over into the Q&A box and just type in the location that you're calling in from this afternoon. You don't have to type your name or anything. Your name automatically pops up there. Just tell me where you're located. That's a huge help. Plus, it lets you know exactly where to ask me some questions throughout the webinar. And I do have some specific areas in the webinar that I've got some slides there that says questions, and I want you to be able to ask me some questions as you go through there today. Ed, it's good to see you from Arizona. Scott's from California, Laguna Beach, that is, in California. Judith is from Houston. Good to see you, Judith. Well, we need Judith. I'm up here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We just need a little bit of fall weather, don't we? We need some that cooler air to kind of start blending on down in here. It's just beginning of October and it's still 90 plus degrees outside. But we're not too. I think I saw in the weather this morning that Arizona, Phoenix was actually cooler than it is here in Texas today. So that just goes to show you we're a little warm here in Texas this afternoon. Carla, it's good to see you from Arizona as well. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate everybody just popping on in here and telling me where you're from. There's a few others that are on here. I got Craig and Deanne and Gabrielle and let's see, Luz Minda. Hopefully I said your name correctly, and got a few others on here that are just coming on here. All right, so let's get started here. My name is Eric Auger. I'm the Director of Learning and Engagement. So we're just engaging right now. That's what we're doing here during the webinar. Let me introduce you. Some of you may be already talking to Adam Phillips. He is our CEO. Adam's been around since basically almost his birth here with American Business Systems. His mom and dad started American Business Systems well over 30 plus years ago. And most recently, in the last 5-6 years, Adam took over the realm of the CEO. He took over from his dad, Patrick Phillips, who is the founder of the organization. Adam has since been then writing articles as well. He is an editorial contributor to a magazine called Building and Coding Advantage Magazine. It comes out every other month there. And but you can actually find a couple of his articles if you'll go out there. I'm going to show you one over here. Craig's actually is from Phoenix. We got a lot of folks from Arizona here. Good to see everybody here. If you'll go to buildingandcoding.com, and it's got this full article and it's got this ID thing here. But if you'll go in there and just type in the shrinking private practice, why billing expertise can be a lifeline. Or if you want to, you can take a screenshot of this. Either way, whatever's best for you. You can certainly do what's easier for you. But you can go get that article. If you want to get the article in a PDF, you might want to just reach out to your sales rep here at American Business Systems. They've got a copy of it. Not only do they have a copy of that one, they've got a copy of one that Adam did back in 2024, all about artificial intelligence. And is artificial intelligence going to take over medical billing? We find out that it's an incredible asset. So we don't see it ever taking over. If you heard Dr. Rackner talk about that last week, she sucked her toe in that area a little bit last week. She goes, there's just absolutely no way that there are going to be any opportunities for AI to take over here in the United States whenever it comes to billing. Because look, as you're going to find out this afternoon, getting your first client is relational. This is all that it is. And so how can a doctor trust some automatic system to make sure that they're getting paid properly? It ain't going to happen. So people still like to do business with people that they know. The old saying, the know, like, and trust. And so let that be part of what you think about as this whole AI thing's rolling out here. But I think it's great. It's helping a lot of our medical billers. Matter of fact, you guys are going to be in a treat. We're doing a webinar with a husband and wife team that literally has blown the doors open, and they're recent grads here from over here at American Business Systems. But we're going to do that the first week in November. So if you haven't become part of us then and you're still around, you can certainly take advantage of that. If you haven't gotten a copy of Adam's book, 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers, we actually have a PDF of it. So those that are on today, I'm going to ask you, if you'd like to, reach out to your sales rep and just simply ask them for a copy, a PDF copy of 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers. It's my gift to you this afternoon. So thank you for being on here. Adam is also the founder and director of an organization called MIRMA. MIRMA is the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. It is this organization that actually has a board of directors, and there's several of our technology partners that are on there. Dr. Vicki Rackner is the medical director of this organization. It is this organization here that you'll be a part of once you become part of American Business Systems, and it's this group here that actually certifies you as a certified medical revenue manager. We'll talk a little bit about that this afternoon. So, all right, listen, folks, you came here to talk about and listen to effective marketing for getting your first doctor. So, all right, so the way I like to do this type of topic here is that I first want to set the stage, and I like to set the stage in a position to where it's just one business person talking to another business person. So let's just say that, you called me up or you called somebody up here over American Business Systems. You said, hey, would you have breakfast with me, or would you have lunch, or would you have coffee with me? I really am interested in learning a little bit more about your business. And so that's all this is today. So I want you to feel comfortable enough to ask me some questions throughout the presentation. We're going to try to go right before, a little bit before the top of the hour. So as you kind of look at it, we're about 50 minutes away from that already. So I want to talk with you about getting your first doctor, because obviously that's helping you make a decision to whether this is the right business for you or not. But folks, what this is all doing here, as you can see on this title screen, we're here to optimize a doctor's practice and maximize their revenue. Okay, so you might want to take that down as a note, because that's their theme today. We're trying to optimize that doctor's practice, and we're trying to maximize their revenue. Now, let's do a little history here, or just a little bit of kind of setting the stage here. Doctors are still having trouble making sure that they're getting paid on all of their claims that go out the door. Okay, so let's think about that. Now, today we're not going to go over numbers, so to say, but let's just look at numbers or think about numbers a little bit. Let's say that a doctor is going to see 100, let's see if they're going to see 25 patients today, okay? Obviously, if you're like anybody, if you're providing service to anybody for any reason, and you are helping someone with, like a doctor providing health care, or you helping a doctor make sure that their claims are getting paid, everybody wants to get paid on all 25 claims. Now, this kind of goes into the whole thing about why don't doctors already have their billers? They have billers, but they are paid employees. That employee is going to get paid whether or not all 25 claims get paid. Whereas with you, you're going to get paid on the same claims that the doctors get paid on. So guess who has a little bit more initiative to getting sure all 25 claims are paid? Yep, you're right. It's you as the medical billing company. And this is what doctors are looking for. Doctors are business people in healthcare. They're not business people as in great money managers. And I don't mean that to degrade them anyway. You got to understand that they went to school for 8+ years to become a doctor, and there was zero training on how to run a medical practice. That just wasn't learned. That's why there's people like you and me around and getting involved in this. So what we're going to do again is I'm trying to build this for you is just we got to build some type of marketing strategy, but first we must understand the things that physicians really need. Okay, so if you want to take notes, you can certainly take notes. If you'd like to, there's no big deal. There's no proprietary information on here. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, or at the end of the presentation, you want to reach out to your sales rep and say, hey, Eric said I could get a PDF of the slide deck, you can do that too. So I want you to be engaged with me this afternoon because this is, remember, you've asked me for coffee. We're sitting here and we're having this chat here. So one of the biggest things that you have to understand is that doctors need to reduce their administrative burden. And they are complicated in a doctor's office. I don't know the last time you've been in a doctor's office, but you can see an administrative nightmare that happens. Folks, they're having to juggle everything from obviously getting sick people into the doctor, right? So they're already dealing with people that are troubled. Then you got your own staff that you're trying to deal with. Then sometimes some people don't show up for work. Then equipment fails. Then you have the biller, if they're trying to bill, they're trying to get these claims out the door because the doctor's going, why am I not getting all my money? Folks, then they're trying to also deal with making sure they're not violating any HIPAA rules. There are a lot of administrative juggling that happens within a doctor's office. What you're going to be able to do is pull a little bit of that out of that doctor's office. You're going to pull out that billing, that part of the, helping the doctor streamline a lot of times their office plans. Because one of the things we're going to teach you the entirety of what really happens in a doctor's office. We've got folks here that have actually worked in doctor's offices who have become business owners here with American Business Systems. So guess what we've been able to do? We've been able to pick their brain and create training modules that are going to help you really, truly understand what goes on behind that glass, that sliding glass whenever you get to that doctor's office. To really know what's going on. So first of all, we're going to teach you and train you and get you equipped where we're going to show you all the different aspects. And I've already mentioned a couple of them. HIPAA compliance is a big deal. We actually have a service line that will actually help doctors be prepared for HIPAA issues. Matter of fact, it's between now and the end of the year. Doctors are thinking about that because come January 1 of 2026, which folks, you can see that's less than 3 months away at this point. Doctors need to update all of their HIPAA rules and training and make sure passwords are changed. And there's a ton of things that have to happen in a doctor's office. And that's just not a doctor's office. I mean, this could go into people that are in healthcare that are serving the mental health industries. You can talk with dentists, you can talk with chiropractors, you can talk with anybody on this whole HIPAA issue. So there are some things administratively you can help reduce that doctor's issues. Obviously, in reducing administrative burdens, we're also obviously trying to increase cash flow. Well, again, you've picked a great time of the year to start looking into this because guess what the doctors are doing? They're going over their books. They're talking to their CPA. They're trying to get prepared. And, some filings have to happen at the end of the year, depending upon when they're doing anything. But come 2026, they're looking over 2025 numbers. And they're trying to figure out, gosh, I saw thousands of people, and let's say that only got, because they can do reports, they can look back and go, wow, we only got paid on 78% of all the claims that went out the door. Folks, that's sort of average out there. And again, I don't know about you. If you're servicing somebody, don't you want to get paid 100% on all invoices that you send out? Of course you do. Well, the doctor's invoice are these claims, and not all the time are those claims getting paid. And they're not getting paid for several different reasons. Today's not the webinar that we're going to dive into why claims aren't getting paid. I can just tell you that claims don't get paid. Many of them don't get followed up on. They get denied or they get lost in the shuffle. And then nobody reworks those claims. And then other claims are trying to come in on top of that. So we're trying to do here is, again, doctors are thinking, I need to reduce my administrative issues and I need to increase my cash flow. All right, so the third thing is reduce exposure. This is everything that has to do with risk management. I've already kind of talked a little bit about that with HIPAA, but that's not the only risk management thing. There's insurance issues that they have to deal with. There are things that you can actually go in and help just see the doctor's office from a different perspective. Do they have, is their office clean? Are there tripping hazards? There are just so many different things that they have to do. Another one is they may have too many people working for that doctor's office. So one of the things we're going to teach you to do is to do a full-fledged practice analysis. I'm going to show you a little bit about that here in just a moment when we get to that section here in the webinar. But doing a practice analysis is going to basically see the risk in the errors, in the weaknesses of that business. Think of it like this, folks. You're coming into a doctor's practice and doing a performance improvement assessment for that doctor's office. Now, whether they go forward with you or not, that's up to them. And it really depends upon how well that you have done a good enough job on making sure that you have helped that doctor really truly understand everything that's going on for that doctor's office. So, all right, folks. So, I'm going to go back over these one more time. We want to reduce administrative burdens. We want to increase the doctor's cash flow, and we want to reduce risk exposure. The last thing that doctors need, and they really do need this, is transparency in reporting. You would think that they're getting that, but again, doctors don't have time to look over reports. Now, I work right now. I've had 2 medical billing practices already. I've kind of graduated from there. I've found myself in some other areas in healthcare, and I love what I do. But I'm doing a little bit more on a hospital thing there, and believe me, hospitals love reports. And but one of the things that we can provide for physicians now through our iClaim system, we can produce transparency reporting. That means the doctors actually get a login to the system. They can find easy reports to look up. They can see what the trends are. They can see whether they're going in the right direction, whether they're going in the wrong direction. Are you capturing all the claims? How many claims are you capturing in a day? How many of those claims are actually being paid on a daily and a weekly basis? So there's a lot of different things that those doctors absolutely need, and they need transparency reporting. They don't typically get that with somebody that's an in-house biller, because guess what? That in-house biller takes up slack in other areas where somebody doesn't show up for work on time, or they got to work through lunch, or they got to do something else. It can be just a doggone mess there in a doctor's office. So again, we're trying to help reduce those administrative burdens. We're trying to help increase that doctor's cash flow, reduce some risk, have transparent reporting. And then lastly here, that before we go on anything else, and that is to focus on patient care and not on paperwork. As I said earlier, doctors didn't go to school to become the best healthcare practice from an administrative side. That's why they hire healthcare administrators to come run their practice. That's why doctors hire outsourced medical billing companies, because you can actually act as a healthcare administrator for their practice. And that's a lot what I do now. I help doctors become better at what they do and engage and find better engagement with their patients and have better outcomes for their patients' healthcare. And one of the things that I've seen is if I can remove a lot of the paperwork off of a physician or a nurse practitioner or anybody that provides service to somebody, they get to focus better care on their patients. Dr. Rackner alluded to this a little bit last week. When you've got a doctor that is so burdened down with risk management, a lot of burden of administrative issues going on, a reduction in their cash flow. Those types of people just don't perform well whenever it comes to engaging with their patients. Their patients are sicker. Their patients are frustrated because they can't get a hold of the doctor or their staff. I've heard this many times. My doctor won't take my call. They won't return my phone call. So it affects. Think of it like this, folks. And again, I ask you to put your location so you know where you live. If you think about it, you could actually help and improve the healthcare in your region by helping a doctor become proficient in those 5 areas that I just shared with you there. All righty. So we've gone about 20 minutes here. It's time for some questions. And here's your opportunity to ask me any questions on the 5 things that we've talked about so far, because this kind of lays down the foundation of effective marketing for getting your first doctor. Because I've kind of peeled back the onion. Why does a doctor even need help? Well, they need help because of those 5 major issues that we discussed. All right. Any questions so far? Looking over my names over here. If we're good to go, just tell me that you're good to go. You can give me okay, how to find doctor's office to enroll. Okay, so ready, we're gonna get there in just a second there. What percentage of doctors use the iClaim software? Well, that's a big question here, Scott, and let me kind of help answer that question. Many times whenever you get your first doctor, sometimes doctors might be a little hesitant to start off switching softwares. They're already in their mind, they're switching people. Sometimes making that transition to switching software can be a little bit of a hurdle as well. I'm just being transparent with you. But that's not a negative in any certain way. Every one of my doctors that I started doing billing with, I actually started using the doctors. I take that back. We did engage with one doctor that did iClaim and took us on as a new billing company all at the same time. It wasn't that difficult, but it did take a lot of work on their part and a lot of work on our part. I think what I learned out of it is I almost preferred the other doctors that I brought on, and I actually started working and doing their billing with their software in the first part, and then I transitioned them over to iClaim because I really got to see the insides of what's really working in that doctor's office, and trying not to duplicate the same mistakes that they were currently working and create those same mistakes over in iClaim. So hopefully that helped answer your question there. Reedy is saying, I think the biggest challenge is enrolling the doctor's office, as many that I've visited have their own billing team. Yep. And again, I'm going to show you some things here that I'm going to help you engage with those doctors. And they may already have their billing team. And I actually worked with a doctor that had a billing team, and they worked with me. They just got the billing outside of there. I actually worked with them and had some engagement with their folks. And then some of those other folks got to leave that, if you want to call it, that revenue cycle management part of the doctor's office, and we're actually able to help increase getting more patients in that doctor's office. So it's not, and I don't know if you're already an ABS licensee or not, or you're just trying to go out there and do some pre-marketing. I don't know. I will tell you this: if you're trying to go out there and go pre-market this business just to go see if it's going to work, you're going to find it to be a very hard hill to climb, because you don't know the entirety of, and I'm going to show this to you here in just a second, of the things that you're going to learn here. All right. Let's start off with executive strategies for acquiring your first doctor client. So here are some things that we're going to talk about. What you need to do is, obviously, whether you're going to do it through American Business Systems or you're going to try to just go do this on your own, you can go in and do the first thing, and it is we're going to create you as a healthcare expert here. ABS business owners are going to be empowered with an in-depth engagement strategy. Here's how it goes. First of all, we're going to train you on going beyond the basics. This is what we're going to help you learn here. Number one, how medical practice operate day to day. I mentioned that to you already. We're going to make sure that you've got the groundwork. It's kind of like you're going to go on the field and you're going to know what the rules are, the playing rules are when you get started here with American Business Systems and as you're trying to start to do this. Because again, if you're going in there and you have no clue of what really goes on a day-to-day basis in a doctor's office, again, the doctor's going to see right through you. That's why I'm encouraging you, not necessarily not to go out there and pre-market. This is your pre-marketing school right now. that's why you're here, and you're getting this absolutely for free here with American Business Systems. However, I would even encourage you, be careful not to even take what you learn here and go try to apply it out there and try to go pre-market. So you go, oh, I've already got a doctor in my hip pocket, therefore I'm going to go ahead and start my business with American Business Systems. You're getting so much more than just a business in a box that provides you software. This is what we do. We help our brand new business owners. We help them engage with doctors. We help them get their first doctor. This is what we do. We've been at this for 30 plus years. We're going to show you the healthcare regulations and some compliances. Everything that you're going to need to learn about acronyms and what CMS is and what a CMS 1500 form is, if you don't know what that is, or what a UB04 is versus a CMS 1500 form, with the difference between a procedure code and a diagnosis code. What are the supporting codes that are going to go along with that? When's proper filing? What do you do with a denied claim? We're going to go through all of those things with you. We're going to keep up with you what's going on with CMS. Folks, if you're not keeping up with what's going on with the government right now, listen, I tell you this, those that are seeing patients and are doing billing for doctors right now, they're paying close attention to what's going on, because some things with CMS right now have been actually put on hold because the government is going through a shutdown right now. And believe me, doctors right now, right at this very moment, are trying to figure out how to navigate through that. These are the things that we're going to help you with. Practice finances and business management. We're going to teach you how that works. Everything from, number one, does the doctor actually need to see more patients? Do they need to double book? Do they need to triple book? Just so that they have angry patients out there, because the doctor knows that not everybody's going to be a show up there. The doctor counts on some attrition from a no-show. We're going to show the doctors how to reduce that. So you'll understand your client's challenges, not just processing their claims. Does that make sense, everybody? That's why I want to make sure that you understand these are the things that we're going to teach you here and help you out here. Let's see. Ed says, what percentage of doctors switch to an outsourced solution when presented? I assume some are set in their ways regardless of the 5 advantages you mentioned. That's true. That's true. So is it 1 out of 100 will make the switch? I'm just trying to see how much marketing has to happen. Ed, that's a very smart question there. It's not 1 out of 100. I remember whenever I first got my first doctor, I think I engaged with about 10, and I got 2 to 3 doctors that I had conversations with. I did practice analysis, and out of that 10, I think I signed 1, and then quickly after that got number 2. So those are the numbers. It's not a 1%. It's more of a 10% of what you can look at. And again, it's not just you engaging with the doctor. I'm about to show you some areas that get you there quicker, and I'll show you, because this is what I did, and this is how it got me to that first doctor within the first 6 months. Okay, all right. So hopefully that kind of helps you. Whenever I say 6 months, I'm talking about 6 months in engaging, getting the doctor signed, start doing their billing. Okay. Because there's a little bit of a process there. All right, so I'm going to take you out of this screen here, and I'm going to shift over and share with you. I'm going to stop sharing this one, and I'm going to share another part of my screen here, and that is right over here. I'm going to show you, this is the in-depth certified medical revenue manager training outline and agenda. Okay. Now, obviously, we're not going to have time to go through this whole document here, but just so that you can see, again, I'm just going to scroll through this ever so slowly. I'm not going to read all of this, but these are some of the modules and the information that you're going to go through as you go through the training. So there's going to be 10 modules that you're going to go through this first part of training that you're going to be certified in, and you can see everything of what it means to set up a clearinghouse, the advantages of having one built into your software versus one that's outside of your software, how to set appointments within the practice management system, how to price your services, what steps to enroll a new practice, what are the revenue projections for the first 30, 1, 3, 6, and 10 providers. We're going to kind of go through all that. For those that are interested in Module 3, there is some training for dental billing because we actually have a dental platform for you to do. We're going to talk with you about virtual care. You see that right there? I'm going to see if I can highlight that. How you can talk with doctors about virtual care. Now, virtual care, again, I'm not going to get into this right now, but virtual care means that doctors can monitor patients' blood pressure, pulse oximeter, their oxygen levels, their glucose levels, their scale, I mean, if they're going to weigh them on a daily basis. These are information that is fed back directly to the doctor as soon as the test gets completed. So let's say the patient steps on the scale, they can see that if you're dealing with a CHF patient, a chronic heart failure patient, if they're gaining weight over a certain period of time, the doctor wants to know that, so they want to make sure that patients weigh in the same time every single day at the same time with the same amount of clothes on, because the doctor wants to monitor that. And if that patient starts increasing their weight, they know that they're having going into what's called a CHF exacerbation. Well, we have that. Let that sink in. This is so much more than just medical billing. We have other revenue streams for doctors, and this is how we're going to show you how to be a door opener of you and a profit center for the practice. So I don't know if y'all have even heard about that. So this is all about remote patient monitoring and what it entails. Module 4, again, accounts receivables, code right, audit guard, HIPAA in Module 5, marketing challenges for medical practices. How does the doctor even do any marketing for their practice? How AutoCard can actually help engage that doctor, increase their amount of patients that they need to see. Module 6, look at here, who is your target market? Here's where we're going at. Here are 2 main goals in marketing to doctors: how to position yourself as the expert, how to do the practice analysis questionnaire, how to prepare for the practice revenue report. Folks, we're going to show you all of this, and this, I know that I'm throwing all of this at you. This takes nearly about 2 weeks to go through this, and I'm trying to squeeze all of this within an hour for you, just so that you can see what's going on here. Dr. Vicki Rackner can actually write a recommendation letter for you to engage you with a doctor. Okay? We've got the tools in which to market. We've been doing this for over 30 years, and we've seen our folks get engaged with doctors very early and get them going. I saw briefly a CRM system may be needed. Yes, some type of customer relation management system you might need. We've got that. We're going to show you how to be able to take care of that too. We've got an automated system that can help you with that. All right, so that's that. Then let me share something else. This is what's so cool. Once you get through with that training, just this year we've engaged in a advanced training, medical billing training series part 1. This is all new information. We're going to teach you how to even get better and getting the doctors paid. We've got more stuff that's coming out. So we've got a ton of information and training to help you become the expert, the master at revenue cycle management. That's what's going to help you land that doctor. Not that you're going to have the best presentation let me get over here to this keynote part of it. Not just that you've got the best looking marketing material or the best looking logo. It's going to be because people know you as the expert in the field. Okay. All right. All right, we're at the bottom of the hour here, and we're almost about halfway through here. So hopefully we're doing pretty well on getting you some information here. All right, number two, we're going to talk to you about now proven referral network marketing. So the first thing that we're going to teach you here is how to identify your orbit of influence. I like to call it an orbit of influence because that's what it is. You know people, I know people, and when you put us two together, you know people I don't know, and I know people you don't know. Okay, you got that? So what you're going to want to do is create your business orbit of influence early on as you're kind of going through this. We're going to teach you and show you how to do that, because out of that, you're going to find others who have existing relationships with doctors. Now, again, it gets back to the old adage that we've all heard. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. They don't do business people just don't do business with you because you've got the best software. You get that? That's why I found myself just as successful engaging doctors, showing them iClaim, showing them what we could do, starting on their software. But I learned how to build trust with those doctors because I did a better job than what they were currently already doing, utilizing their same software. Then I said, doctor, now let's take it to the next level. Let's get you out of this other software, because they may have a contract on that software already. They may need to finish up a couple of new other payments before they switch softwares. Some doctors just cut it loose and just said, look, I'm losing too much money. If your system says what it can do, then let's move it. Because earlier on, I'll put a plug in to get back with your sales rep. You're going to want to have an opportunity to see a demonstration of the iClaim software and why it's so important, because it becomes a talking point early on. You may not get that doctor on there, but you're going to show the doctor the importance of having that type of system. So we're going to help you identify your business orbit of influence, okay? You're going to find others who have existing doctor relationships. That's how I was able to get my first doctor and start building that doctor within 6 months of me starting. So get that. When you can start your business, get trained, start your marketing, find people out there that are already doing business with other doctors, and start doing the billing within 6 months, that's a winning project every single time. So it's not like you're going out there and cold calling doctors. What we're going to do again, lastly here, is to cultivate now those business relationships with others in your community. So someone was asking me, do we need a CRM? Yes, but you need your CRM not for doctors, but for engaging with people who are already doing business with other doctors. That's why you need a CRM, because I want to meet with those folks regularly and often. Okay? That's what you do. That's how you build that's one of the best proving referral network building opportunities. The number one way of getting your first medical doctor is through getting involved in these areas. Here are some 3 areas that you can look into. BNI, which is Business Networking International, any type of healthcare meetup group that might be meeting for breakfast or anything, any professional type of group that meets for breakfast or for lunch, you're going to want to be a part of. And don't forget your local chamber of commerce. Guess what? There are healthcare industry people that go to Chamber of Commerce luncheons and meetings. There are people that are in home health. There are people that deal with nursing homes, skilled nursing facilities, rehabs. You're dealing with actually doctors' offices. I can tell you, in my little town right now, I've engaged several times with doctors already here locally that I've been able to build incredible relationships with, just simply by knowing others. Listen, when you find like a home health agency who does business with just about every doctor in your zip code, and you start engaging with them and you tell them what they do, they already know issues what some doctors are dealing with. All right, a question comes in. Does ABS System also have a system for optometry clinics? If that optometry clinic bills on a CMS 1500, yes. Okay, that's the key thing. Depending upon what type of practice that you're dealing with, Any practice that bills on a CMS 1500 form, you can do the billing for. So those are massage therapists, physical therapy, the mental health clinics out there. Several people are doing mental health billing. Primary care physicians, cardiologists, all the different specialist surgeons, everybody that's like that does that. I The reason I say I'm having to pause there because I'm not sure about optometry billing, but if it's on a CMS 1500 form, you certainly can. All right, so real quickly, not to belabor this too much because we've got 20 more minutes left on the webinar, but BNI is a good group to be a part of. And let me tell you how we kind of teach you how to kind of get involved in a BNI group here and start doing some of your networking there, because there are people in that room who are just like you trying to find others who can engage with other people. I would say almost 75 to 80% of people who get involved in this business find themselves finding their first doctor through an organization like this, because typically with a BNI group, they will only allow one type of industry within that particular group. So if you find one that's local to you, I'd call them up and say, hey, do you have any medical billing companies that are attending your BNI group? If they say no, say, I would like to attend. How many times can I come before I actually join? Sometimes it's once, sometimes it's twice, but you're going to find that to be very, very helpful. I can't tell you the number of interviews that I've done with folks that have started their medical billing business with us here at American Business Systems who truly hasn't gotten their first doctor through something like this. All right, any other questions so far? We're just about wrapped up here, and we're going to kind of tell you some of your next steps to do here as well. Feel free just to put your questions in. If you're trying to type them out right now, and I'm going to keep going on, I'm going to share with some other things. So let me also kind of wrap up here about the referral building part of this. This is not a sales pitch, okay? We're doing real assessment here, assessment with doctors. Remember, this is a business to business type of work here. We're going to teach you again how to engage with these doctors and how to be professional about what you do, because you're going to dig into the practice's numbers to see how they're really doing. We're going to, first of all, how are they getting paid for the work that they do? It's a simple thing like that. What are they currently doing to get paid, and how often are they getting paid upon every single claim that goes through? That assessment goes through many questions there, and I'm going to kind of explain how we present that to the doctors where it makes a lot of sense to the doctors. Are insurance claims getting rejected? If so, how many? Why are they getting rejected? We're going to ask that question. And is money coming in efficiently? These are some of the questions that we're going to be asking that doctor. And these are some of the things that you can actually tuck away. Once you kind of know what the questions are in the practice analysis, these are questions that you can utilize when you're talking about your business. So, folks, again, I can't stress this enough. If you're coming to buy a business package here thinking that automatically you're going to get a doctor, that's unrealistic with any particular business. I'm hoping I'm talking with people who know that you need to let people know that you're in business. People will never come to you unless they know you're in business. I've sat back, I'll just tell you this real quickly. I've sat on our board of directors at our local Chamber of Commerce. I've seen people come and go out of that Chamber of Commerce. I've seen people become extremely successful just because they were friendly people. Now, let that sink in. I've seen people come into our Chamber of Commerce become extremely successful in their business, whatever they were selling, whatever services they had, and they did it because they were just nice people. People liked being around them, and they helped others. So that's one of the biggest reasons that we tell you that it's not always engaging directly with a doctor. Now, you'll utilize that same aspect, because obviously you want eventually the doctor to like you, especially when you get a referral from one person and said, yes, I know of a doctor, Dr. James Smith over here. I know that they've been struggling. I've been hearing about how they've been struggling. Matter of fact, he just fired his biller over that he's had for 15 years, and they're struggling right now. And simply, do you mind making an introduction? When you get that introduction, that handoff from a doctor that's in pain, and you get that, and now you know all the back end story here, and then you're going to do, doctor, this is how we're going to approach you. And so this is a little extra here for those that are on. Some of you might know that whenever you when you go see a doctor, there's a specific way a doctor will examine you. It's called a SOAP note, and it stands for subjective, objective, assessment, and plan. They're going to subjectively ask you questions, what's going on with you. They're going to objectively look you over from head to toe, take your temperature, blood work, blood pressure, all of that, pulse. That's objective information. Then they're going to pull all that. They're going to pull the subjective, the objective, and then do an assessment. They're going to say, this is what's wrong with you. And then they're going to put a plan together. That is exactly how we built our practice analysis. It's subjective questions with objective findings, within a full assessment and a full plan. When you talk to a doctor and say, doctor, especially this is what happens. Doctors will always, this is the first question they'll ask you if you get engaged with a doctor. How much are you going to charge me? What's your percentage of doing your billing? My question is like this, doctor, I don't know what that percentage is because I have not done my own SOAP note on you from a financial position. And pause just a little bit because they're going to go, I get it. It's almost like me, doctor, coming in and saying, hey, before I come see you and before you diagnose me, what are you going to charge me? The doctor's going to say, I don't know how much time I'm going to spend. I don't know what test I'm going to run. I don't know. I can't give you a price on that. It's the same thing. I can't give you a price. Now we'll be in the ballpark where, national averages are. I'm not going to be exorbitant, but I'm going to do a true assessment of it, and I'm going to give you a true pricing. Is that fair enough? Okay. Here are the questions here on this. It's hard to see on there, but we're going to teach you, and we've even updated these questions since we've already got these on there. We're going to teach you how to do this. Your support team is going to help you make sure that you do that. And then at the end of this, you're going to pull together what's called a practice analysis report. And you're going to pull all that information over here, and then you're going to put it over on the right-hand side. You're going to put it in a report, and you can see at the very bottom there, on the bottom right-hand corner where it says monthly revenue increase 17.8%. This is from a doctor, one of the ones that we did. This is, we were able to show the doctor that there's a possibility of us getting another $26,000 a month. Let that sink in. Now, at that point, if the doctors are serious about doing some work there and rolling up their sleeves, and they know that you can give them another $26,000 a month, folks, do you really think that you're selling the doctor anything? This has nothing to do with sales. This has all to do with reputation and engagement with doctors and engagement with other people out there in the field. So now, lastly, you need to make sure that you look like you know what you're doing. Well, number one, we're going to make sure that you have a website that looks and talks just the way that you're trying to talk there. We've got that. We're going to create helpful content with blog posts and guides that address common billing problems. And we're going to show you how to do that. Now with AI, that's actually even gotten better and easier for you to make those blog posts and use marketing materials that have proven success in getting things into the right hands of everybody. You're going to have access to several different templates in which you can choose from once you've joined us here for your website. The only thing that you're going to have to get is your URL. Where where does the where's the internet address that these doctors are going to find you? We also have all of your marketing material. This is all included. So everything I've talked to you so far, all of your training, all of your support, all of these materials are going to come along with your business package here, including just really kind of just highlighting a couple of these. Folks, you don't have to know anything about coding. We have services that help you with any doctor's coding, whether it's through just strict coding or if the doctors are going through any type of audit, we're going to help that doctor go through that. I've already mentioned to you about HIPAA issues. We have a service that's going to help you get your foot in the door, especially right now on Compliancy Guard. Now's another time to talk about doctors, how much money did they have sitting in their accounts receivable that are not paid. We're going to show the doctor how to get those past claims paid. And then lastly, we're going to show you how to not only utilize a letter from Dr. Vicki Rackner, because remember, you're going to build that business orbit of influence, okay? And you're going to collect names there, and you're going to say, you know what? Out of everybody that I've seen so far, there are about a few doctors that I want to get some new information in. We're going to show you how to utilize this book. It's a real book. You don't have to buy this book. This book comes with you, and it's written by Dr. Rackner and Patrick Phillips. But the foreword to the book is written by you. Your name is actually going to literally be printed on the front cover and on the inside of the one that wrote the foreword to the book. Then during the training, you can see there, maybe a little bit hard to see. You see those little yellow tabs there? Those are specific areas in the book. Instead of the doctor having to read through the entirety, we're going to show you how to go to certain parts of the book, stick these little tabs in there, and then take a highlighter, just like I'm kind of showing you right there, just a highlighter, and then highlight certain areas of that book where it's going to draw that doctor's attention. We know they don't have long, but if we can show them, just like we're showing you right here, where it says, if you could find your staff lacking in time and skill, there are revenue cycle management companies that specialize in analyzing everything I've mentioned in this chapter. Okay, so we're going to show you how to highlight certain areas to do this. Lastly, I'm going to show this to you, and then I'm going to get over to our last part of some questions. We're almost at the top of the hour here. But again, if a doctor has a billing staff, you can see the amount of money it takes to have a full-time employee. You can see that it's going to round that out about $95,000. Even if you want to go lower than that, I don't care. We can pull out some of these things, training cost or attempt cost for somebody that takes a vacation. We can pull out, $3,000-4,000 out of that. Let's just call it 85. Let's take 10 grand out of it if you want to. But doing the same amount of business. Now, remember, this is trying to get 100 claims 100% back. That's where the rubber meets the road. You got to see here that if they outsource this, it would cost them $54,000 instead of $95,000. And that's part of the practice analysis that we're going to show that doctor, that gap there, that if they've got a billing staff, full-time employees doing billing in-house, we're going to show them by utilizing that practice analysis there to show them how much money that they're losing just to having full-time employees there at their office. Okay. Any last minute questions? Okay. Scott, do you have or offer drip campaigns to the marketing? Yes. The same service, I've kind of blew through it kind of quickly on helping doctors market to get clients, their own patients in the office. There is a service called AutoCard. You can actually use that same process to get a doctor. Matter of fact, I've talked to you about one of my first doctors, but if I even go back further, whenever I first joined ABS, and I was here 2 or 3 years, and I looked over at Patrick. I said, Patrick, can we just do something? Let's beta test something. Can we go out there and you and I, because I was doing some training back then. I said, can you and I go make sure that all of the things that we teach our brand new business owners to do, can we do that in-house? He says, well, yeah, let's do that. How did we get our first doctor there? Within less than 6 months, but really less than 3 months. We used the drip campaign from AutoCard. That's exactly how we did it. So yes, Scott. Ed, you mentioned services to help us, and I already saw that BNI has a cost. So what more should we plan on setting up in terms of additional services or tools that assist us in the journey of building this business? BNI does come with a cost. It can be kind of a hefty cost, but even if it's $300 or $400 a year, it's not, and it might be, you're going to go, man, I've just invested what I've invested here. I don't want to spend too much more money. That's why in your area, you can probably find 5 or 6 different BNIs in your area. So if you can go to, if they allow 2 in each of them, you can probably hit all of them. And folks do that all the time. At $900 a year in Arizona. Okay, so I didn't know how much that is. That's a little steep. However, if you're able to get 1 or 2 clients out of that, that's a pretty good return on your investment. So, but Chamber of Commerces are great. You can look up do a Facebook search. Probably you can go in and do an AI search now and try to find other business organizations that meet for lunch or coffee in your area. A lot of those are free. You just got to pay for your breakfast there. I used to go to those quite often, and you can have insurance people in there. You're going to have financial advisors there. Financial advisors are all over doctors. Matter of fact, one of the biggest things that Dr. Vicki Rackner works with are financial advisors, because those financial advisors are already working with doctors. So that might be another area you can start looking at. Okay. But there are plenty of different networking opportunities as you can go out there. Ed says, I'm totally fine with BNI, but I was just wondering if there were any other tools that came out during training that we might need. Any other tools? What do you think? You're going to get the book. That's another tool that you'll be able to utilize. We're going to teach you and show you, support's going to show you, and training's going to show you a little bit how to make sure that you get your Facebook page set up, maybe even LinkedIn. There is actually another tool in which we have that will, it's kind of like LinkedIn, but it's to businesses. Alignable. That's it. Thank you, Ed. Yes, you've been doing your due diligence with us. So yes, Alignable is it, and that's been good for that. So Ed, you're very much engaged. I appreciate that. All righty. Any last questions here? Gosh, it's 3 minutes till the top of the hour. I can't believe it. Folks, leverage our 30 years plus experience here at American Business Systems. That's what you're getting here tremendously. Now, I'm going to tell you a couple of things you need to do. Go, if you haven't seen this, sometimes it's kind of a little buried. It's on our front page website. It goes to absystems.com. Up at the right-hand corner, as you can see it says download 5 Secrets to Success. You're going to put your contact information in there. You're not going to get pushed off to somebody else. They'll recognize and they'll push it back over to whoever you're working with here, whether it's Jason or Adam or anybody, the other guys here. And then it's a downloadable information, and inside of it, it's got some white papers in there of some of our business owners. So that's a great piece of information.